Awesome Con, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Daniels!
Well, hello. Hello. Would you...
Hey there, fans. This panel recording was sponsored by those fine sentients over at 80stees.com. They have some shirts that are out of this world. If you want to display your Star Wars fandom for the world to see, you should check them out at 80stees.com and use coupon code FSC3PO for 30% off your order. Now, on to the panel.
Okay. I'm on television. Look at this. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm bringing a book. Has anybody read this book? Because if you have read it, then you don't need to be sitting here, because I tell all the stories that you might hear today in the book. Did I say I'd written a book? Look at this. How good is that? Okay. I do have... One thing you probably remember is that 3PO always had a companion, usually R2-D2. Can we get some more lights up on the audience, please? Just a little more. So he's not here today, and I can't do this sort of thing on my own, so I need you to work with me. And I have a question. Just the audience lights up, please. Audience lights, house lights, don't you love it when things go wrong? And they do so frequently go wrong. Okay, now here's a question. Brighter lights, please, because I'm going to ask a question. Who in this room has never seen a Star Wars movie? Anybody? Who's never seen a Star Wars movie? Who? Did you find one? Who is it? Would you come up here? Would you and Daddy come up here, or Mummy? That'd be really good. Because it's so wonderful to meet somebody on this planet, quickly, very quickly, if you would, on this planet who has never seen a Star Wars movie. And what is your name? Yeah, you do. What is her name? Lily, because we don't have all day, darling. Hello, Lily. Thank you so much. Lily, can we see Lily here? Lily, come up on stage. Being very careful. Here's Lily. Okay. Here's Lily, and Lily has never seen a Star Wars movie. So you stand here, Lily. And I have a question for you. Oh, yes. Here we go. Think about this. What is Star Wars about? What is Star Wars about? What is Star Wars for you? What is it about, sir?
It's about hope.
Pardon?
Hope. Hope. It is the...
Yeah, shut up. You give people a chance and they just want to hog the microphone. Do you know what I mean, it is absolute rubbish. Sir, what for you? We got hope. What for you?
It's about you. All 9 times.
What is your name?
Hans Gruber.
Hans. Lily, did you get that? Enough. God, this is a tough crowd. Lily, I know it's a fight for freedom. It is more about me. The guy got it right. Are you listening? He's got it right. We don't have to do this. We can all go home. Lily, just come here. Just come forward. Yes, managed. Oh, come here. So did you hear that? It's all about a golden robot. Isn't that good? Yeah.
Yes.
And is he your favorite character?
Yes.
Have we... Yeah, Daddy's right. Have we rehearsed this before?
Yes.
You couldn't make this up, except I am making it up. Lily, that's so good. Can you see yourself? Look, you're there. Wave at the camera. It's right there. A big hand for Lily. Children are so honest. Did we rehearse this? Yeah. Okay. Seriously, you've probably got a lot of questions, and here's a microphone that you can not use because it's really boring. Because people stand here for hours and then they ask a question. They've been dying to ask for years, and somebody's already asked it, but they didn't hear it. Who is the only person in this room? That was really bad. Who is the only person in this room to be in all 9 original Star Wars films? So you must have a question you've been dying to ask of a man who has spent the last 45 years dressed in one of the most uncomfortable costumes, always finding out where the toilet is before he gets dressed up. Okay, who has a question? Who has a question? You had your arms straight up. What is it? Wait, stand up. Wait to be asked. What's your name?
My name is Andrew. I'm a big fan. I was wondering if you had a favorite scene from any of the films that specifically...
That is a very good question, Andrew. Thank you very much. Probably a favorite one. I've got several, actually, but one... You know how Han Solo used to really be mean to 3PO? Ah, yes. And it was a very good dynamic, but 3PO loved it, having been pushed around by Han Solo all these years, when in episode 6, Han Solo is now over a kind of fire. Yes? Surrounded by little furry things who couldn't be more annoying if they tried. Sorry. And he said, and they're all going, make an Enoch noise for me.
What was the question? No, I didn't even hear it.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even hear what
You did, no, you were in awe, weren't you?
I guess. I just like...
You were in awe of standing next to... Just look over there. Where's your mum there? Yeah. You were in awe of standing so close to a god.
I guess I just wasn't prepared for it.
The Ewoks thought I was a god. I was a god. So there's Han Solo over the fire. And just, what are they saying? Who's making an Ewok noise? You were. Have we rehearsed this?
An Ewok?
Oh, God. I'm on my own here. Who's good at making Ewok noises? Here's somebody who's good at... Okay, here's an Ewok noise. Here we go. Better be good. Go.
You're not.
Oh, that's scary good. So there is Han Solo over the fire, and the things are going yum num num num. What are they saying, 3PO? It appears, Captain Solo, that you are to be the main course at a banquet given in my honor. It took a while to get there. It took a while, but all that was way later in episode 6. So how did the whole thing begin? Of course, I have written about it in my book. Did I say I'd written a book? I have written about a certain date in November in 1975. Most of you weren't even thought of by that stage. I don't know, I'd been acting for a couple of years, and I was a very serious actor, sort of. And my agent rang one day and said, there's this American who's making a low-budget science fiction film, and he wants to see you for the part of a robot. Well, I was a very serious actor. Stay still. You're next to greatness. Okay. Your turn next. But no tongues. Okay, I mean, it's like... Next to greatness, George Lucas. And I said, no. What do you mean, no? Well, I didn't want to be in a low-budget science fiction film playing part of a robot. And she said, it's so stupid. Go and meet him. You never know what it could lead to. So, yeah, it led to me being here and you being next to greatness. Do you see? That was the beginning. Because I did go and meet George, and he was not at all Not at all the American I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be a kind of, cigar, Hollywood, all that stuff. Back in the day, that's what Hollywood was about. And I go to the 20th Century House in London, and there is George, who was so depressed, so tired. He was meeting every British actor to be anything in his film. And he'd had people walking in being robots, and he's going, no, I don't want that. It's kind of, And I walked in, and I didn't care. I was there to be polite. And we sat, and we discussed the fact that I didn't really care for science fiction. But then on the wall, and it's in the book, did I say I'd written a book? Look, here, right here, you can see, look at that, the original painting by Ralph McQuarrie that, you can look at this camera work. There is the original painting by Ralph McQuarrie. It was a bit bigger than this. But I fell in love with the character's face and his kind of being, because he looked utterly lonely and sort of a bit sad, really, and it was as though he was reaching out to come into the picture, or for him to come out of the picture. And I was touched, and that was the end of the conversation. Then I read the script the next day. I loved the character of 3PO. And the next day I went back, and I was a little more kind of not so calm. And we talked for about an hour how I'd walked out of 2001: A Space Odyssey because it was boring. Have you seen it? All of it? Oh, it's become one of my favorite films now. I'm older, but I actually asked for my money back the first time to the studio, the cinema owner, and he said, "Why do you want your money back?" I said, "Because it's a boring film." I won't tell you what he said, but the essence was go away. I didn't get my money back. So now I am there with George, and we talked for an hour, and then there was a pause, and I said, "Please, may I play the part?" And he went, "Sure." It's like he, I don't know, burped or something. It wasn't a real sound. But as I say in the book, it was a sound that changed my life, literally. But the next day, I had the part, and they said, "You need to go and be cast." And I was confused. I'd never been in a film before, just television and stage and all that. And they meant cast. So I drove to Elstree Studios, and I knew the word studio, glamour, Hollywood. Ooh. Well, it was a room about this big, and there were two builders in it, dressed in white builders' overalls. And they said, they looked at me and they said, "Well, take your clothes off." Well, I don't know about you, but on a first date, I think that's inappropriate. But they had buckets of plaster and water and so on. And so I stood there almost with no clothes on. And I stood there, I can't believe it, whilst they mixed up buckets of plaster of Paris and then hurled it at my body. And it was in winter, and it was like utterly disgusting. It was like, ugh. And so they kept doing it. And then they did something really weird. They came with Hessian, bits of wool stuff, and then they came with bits of wood. And I was like a construction site, a one-man building being built. It was horrific. And at one point, I saw steam. The windows are totally steamed up by now. And I saw steam actually coming out. Oh. And in the end, of course, they ended up with a statue of my body. Yeah, not good, not good. You do not want to see yourself replicated in white plaster. But then Liz Moore took some modeling clay and made that beautiful shape that we all know. It took 6 months. And I would be there in the studio whilst George and the team would kind of be on the floor looking at a 3PO knee or an elbow or a neck, any part, because they had to make a costume that had never happened before on this planet. 6 months. And I'd agreed with them, they agreed with me, that I would have the finished costume that I would practice, rehearse in, using a camera, using mirrors, to see what worked, what didn't work. So at the end, I tried it on for about 10 minutes in a little room at Elstree and took it off. It had been a nightmare. 10 minutes, and I was bumping into the furniture. I was horrified. And then I said, right, now may we go to a studio and I can practice with cameras and mirrors? No. Why not? It has to go to Tunisia to be on the set. I never saw that costume again until two weeks later. And there it was, laid out in a tent. 17 pieces. 18 pieces, 17 pieces, yeah. 18 pieces. And gradually we started with the middle, the pants, leg, foot, chest, arm. By now I'm beginning to lose my sense of being human. Then comes the neck, and then it comes towards me. The face, and at the same time the back of the head is coming, and now I am totally imprisoned. For the first time, I can't believe this, for the first time I stood there, and then Maxie, my dresser, flicked a little switch at the back there, on that backpack, tiny switch, 6 batteries here connected to a light, lights in the eyes. And then they opened the tent flaps, just like that. And 3PO stepped out onto the planet Tatooine for the very first time. Amazing. And with his eyes, I could see directly ahead, neither to the side unless I looked where his head faced. I couldn't see anything but directly in front of me. And as I kind of scoped, the desert sun, I remember, was coming up from here, sandcrawler behind me, and I was amazed because I could see directly in front of me a whole bunch of the American crew here who were going, oh, look at that, it's incredible, look, that's fantastic. And then the British crew, who were kind of in the middle, were going, no, it's quite good, isn't it? Yeah. But the local crew who had been hired in to help had never seen anything like this. And their reaction was, oh! They were astounded. And so indeed was I, because I'd never had in my life so much attention. And I felt, well, I thought it was all for me. No. It was for this magical face, but it was one moment of sheer perfection. And then assistant director came up and said, yeah, can you walk over to your mark here? And I came, this foot had shattered and was now carving itself into my very human bones. So I limped to my mark, stood there, and they wodged plastic padding up. And a thing about being in a film, what the camera doesn't look at, the audience never sees. Had the camera dropped down, you would have seen a bunch of plastic in there. Not at all Star Wars. But then came the real problem, and I've talked about this. It's in the book. You can read it afterwards. Check the story. Because George said, action. He was already exhausted, and we hadn't even started. I was already exhausted and thinking, what am I doing here? Action. Uncle Owen came up and said, do you speak the binary language of moist evaporators? Why, sir, it's like cut. Do you speak? Why, sir, cut. Voice evaporators. My sir, my first job. George came up looking furious. And he looked straight into 3PO's eyes and my eyes and said, don't worry about the voice. We can fix it later. You can say anything you want. What do you mean, say anything I want? I used to be in like plays where so-and-so speaks, the other person replies. You know what the other person's saying. It's not brain science, I tell you. It's written down for you. Action. You speak the binary language of moist evaporate. Why, sir, my first job was... Cut. Good. That was it. And of course, I wasn't into filming then. I didn't know. I mean, it sounds stupid right now, but it's the truth. And it wasn't until 6 months later that we'd finished filming. And it was 6 months later that I got a phone call from America, from Hollywood, to go to Hollywood. Me. Ooh. Long way. Never had jet lag before. It was very strange. The next day, I'm in a dubbing theater watching the film and about to put my voice on it again. And the engineer said, well, it's incredible you got here, because George really hates your performance. Oh, hi, George. You hated my performance? Never thought of him as being a British butler. I never thought of it being anything else. George could have said, I don't like your performance, can we rethink it and do something? He tried 30 different actors, people like Richard Dreyfuss, Oscar-winning Richard Dreyfuss, and he was rubbish. So that didn't work. Teasing. Nothing quite fitted C-3PO and his very precise voice and sort of my English brain. It came together with a bit of space magic and the Force and all that kind of thing. It came together in a unique character, a one thing. So it's my voice, but it is important, and I want you to remember, when you watch those early movies, I had a microphone inside the mask here and a wire that went all the way down to here, and they recorded it over there. So all the time when you watch those original movies, just remember, I am speaking to you out of my butt. But that's Hollywood. I'm having such a good time. I don't know, because there are more stories, but you paid to be here. Did you pay to be here? You're paying for this? No refunds, okay. Who has a question that is super intelligent and will fascinate people? Sit down, sir. No showing off. Showing off. I am going to go into the far reaches of outer darkness here. Yes, ma'am, just stand up so we can just see. Okay, what is your question?
Hi, actually, I'm an original fan from way back in the 70s.
I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, I'm a little. I was a little kid. Been waiting to ask us for a long time. How did you go to the bathroom in that thing?
What is your name?
Anne.
Anne wants to know how. Apparently, it's the question that astronauts get asked all the time, and it is kind of fascinating. The fact is, I didn't. And for the first... when I say I didn't go to the bathroom, I mean, I didn't physically... we're getting to... I'm in deep doo-doo here. No pun. No pun. Okay, Anne wants to know. The fact is, I dressed up on that first day at 7 in the morning, and at 7 o'clock at night, because that's when the sun goes down, you've got to stop filming. At that point, I hadn't been all day. Mind over matter. But it's rather worrying that with billions of years of evolution and mankind really, really progressing, that the only question Anne can come up with is, how do you go to the bathroom? Really, Anne, it's like, try harder, try harder. Where's Lily when you need her? Okay, another question over here. Oh, yes, well, stand up. Hi, babe. Okay, what is your question?
My name's Paige. I've watched all the movies, and what was it like working with all the different actors? Because it really changed with each series, the three, it seemed like, for you.
Mm-hmm, yeah. What was it like working with all the actors? The normal question is, who's your favorite actor? You're on a hiding to nothing, aren't you, there? If you say one, the other one's going to call you up or email you, say, how dare you not say, I was your favorite actor? The course of filming, of course, my favorite actor, since you didn't ask, in the first one was Actually, they were all pretty good, weren't they, when I think? But Sir Alec Guinness, because he was older, he was such a father figure to me and really helped me in a difficult situation. But then you had Mark Hamill, who was probably one of the first Americans I'd ever met. And you know what you're like. The shock factor was enormous. He was so young and bright and sparkly and kind of on the whole time. I mean, on. Sometimes you're looking for the switch, darling. You know, turn it down a bit. He was lovely, and he was so supportive of me. He would help with the costume and all that kind of thing. But one of the sweetest things was in the prequels, when I'm there, and there's Ewan McGregor there, lovely Scottish actor, and he's saying, because he saw Star Wars as a kid, and he said, the Scottish accent, yes, can't believe I'm in a scene with C-3PO. And I'm going, I can't believe I'm in a scene with Ewan McGregor. And I meant it because, you know, he's a terrific actor. So all the actors bring something. And the later they join the series, the more scary it is, because then they have the whole shebang to make better and better and better and so on. And the favorite film, since you didn't ask, for me, was The Rise of Skywalker, because 3PO finally got back to doing something, and of course not doing something. It's against my programming to translate from the Sith. What? Yeah, do you remember that? I thought that was a magical piece of writing. And then the whole red eye thing, yes. That was wonderful. Yes, did you want to ask a question? Well, here's the magic. I had the speaking stick.
I have a quick question. What do you think is the line that you had to take the most times when you're on set?
What is the line I have to take?
Like you had to do the most takes of.
Oh, God. Yeah. How many? I think the biggest was 14 takes. Not my fault. But I tell you, when you have things that mean you're doing it, and the thing with JJ is that's terrific. Let's do it again. That was excellent. Just one more time. Yeah, I used to go up and smack him because he doesn't know kind of when to stop. But there's all sorts of technical things. And 14 takes, when you dress like that, you count every second of that stuff. Yes, young lady, just come this way a bit. Okay, what's your question?
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm from Washington, D.C.
I'm so sorry. I love Washington. We've had a great time, been here for a few days. And anybody see Star Wars in concert 100 years ago here? Yes, best job I ever had. I say that in my book. Did I? No, never mind.
When you're ready. Of course, you were in all the movies, and you're making appearances in the animated shows, and you made an appearance in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Bear with us. This may take some time.
What are the chances we'll see you in The Mandalorian, since we saw R2-D2? I had to ask, I'm sorry.
I heard Elliot mention earlier, before I came on, your wonderful DJ, that he works for Disney, and indeed this room is mic'd. And so, who's got a question over here? Why are you sitting so far away? Do you know at my age how hard this is walking around? Stand up.
All right. How do you become like a so successful actor? Because I want to be like an actor when I grow up and stuff.
Oh, that's a really good question. And the truth is that back in the day, my parents wanted to be anything, doctor, lawyer, scientist. My father was a scientist. I was a failure. Because I just said, I want to be an actor. Oh, why don't you be a lawyer? Oh, okay. And for 2 years, I tried to do something that I didn't want to do. And eventually time rolled on. It's in the book. A teacher, member of an amateur dramatic society, heard me say, I wish I was an actor. And he turned to me, he said, well, if you want to be an actor, be an actor. He was used to dealing with young people. And now things have changed. I mean, the games industry, the film industry, all the electronic industry, huge job opportunities there. And in the film industry, everybody on a set has a job. Why do you want to be an actor?
I don't really know. I just want to entertain people.
Oh, I wanted to do that too. No, it's true, and it's actually a wonderful, you wouldn't believe how many people in answering that question say, I want to be famous. That is the worst thing you could ever want. I really like what you said. And in answer, then you have to work at it. You have to do amateur shows, school shows, whatever, any opportunity. Learn to tap dance, juggle. I once was in a musical. Tap dancing is terribly difficult, but when you learn to tap dance and you make a mistake on stage in front of thousands of people, what do? You smile, and then they look at your face and don't remember the feet. So that's my first tip to you as an actor. Learn to horse ride, fence, juggle, sing, very important, and tap dance. Is that good? Thank you very much. Good luck to you. Future of Star Wars. Remember this oath. Okay. Somebody in the outer reaches here, yes. Yes. You.
So I absolutely love you as 3PO, and I was wondering, when you recorded for Star Tours, how did they capture your body? How did they capture your body movements for the robot?
Has anybody done Star Tours here? Wonderful. The way we matched up the movements of my voice is we actually physically did the role. And if you see, oh, it's lovely. I rode it the other day. It's so good. Have you been on it? You haven't? That's so sad. Why haven't you been on Star Tours?
I'm lame. I'm sorry.
Okay. How did we match the movements to the voice? Because we actually we filmed me in the suit. And when you see it, at some point, not spoiling the surprise, 3PO becomes the pilot. And to do that, it's all an accident. But to film it, we actually filmed me in a studio, getting up there, getting into the machine, different setup, coming in, pushing out an imaginary character, and me sitting down in a seat that then swivels around to the display, the window. How did we swivel the seat? We had the smallest member of the crew crouched out of sight. This is what I said, if the camera doesn't see it, you do, except, of course, I kept giggling because the guy was like squished in there. And woof. So, in answer to your question, I physically performed the role which then the incredible animatronics engineers copy. But you don't have to put your hand up, you can just go. You should have gone earlier, but hey. What's your question?
So you mentioned a moment of wonder from the original trilogy, and I was curious if you could give another one from like the prequels, for example. You wanted an intellectual
yes, I did want an intellectual question. How wrong was I? How did I have another sort of moment in the prequels? Oh God! Be careful what you wish for. I don't know. I'd have to think. What happened in the prequels? It was a long time ago. I think just to be back. Well, actually, the thing that occurs. I had a meeting with George at Leavesden Studios now, and he said, making episode 1, your character is created by Anakin. And I was really pleased, not only to be asked back, but that Anakin made me. Because Sir Alec Guinness had been so nice to me, as I said earlier, that I felt really comfortable that there's this kind of circle here that Anakin Skywalker made me, and then it would promise you it was about 3 days later when my brain clicked in, and no, Anakin's the other one, isn't he? But here's the thing. 3PO does not know that Anakin is his daddy. Look, he's sensitive enough as it is. Please don't tell him. It would destroy him, okay? But that is actually a memory, yes. And here we have, yes, a hooded thing here.
So out of all of your career, are there any moments that you would prefer to forget?
Oh, most of them. you have to realize the time filming it is fun is when you sit down at a premiere and you go, I don't have to do any of that again. Yes, it happens all the time. Yes, sir.
How does it feel to be a pillar of Star Wars and such a role model to so many people?
Well, that's a serious question. How does it feel to be a kind of pillar? One of the things that's come to me lately is the fact that people who are a little sensitive in our society have found in 3PO a kind of, I don't know, a fellow traveler, somebody that they can relate to very easily, somebody who isn't totally comfortable, somebody who's bullied, who's pushed around, whatever. And it's added a dimension to what I've done for a living, to feel that 3PO as a character has touched them, and there may be people in the room who feel that, and they don't need to, they can just remember. Yeah, you're waving a pink lightsaber? Pink? Oh no, it's purple. Okay. I don't know. People say to me, if 3PO had a lightsaber, what color would it be? Oh, for heaven's sake. I get interview questions. If you were a biscuit, if you were a cookie, what flavor would you be? I just want to smack people who say things like that. Okay, yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. Was there a moment when it dawned on you just how big of a phenomenon Star Wars was going to be and how much it was really going to change your life?
Yes.
Hi, I'm a big fan, and thank you for being a huge part of my childhood. And my question is, are there any interesting offset or on-set stories and everything?
No. Yes, sir.
Did the costume become more comfortable over the years? Did they change it to make it easier for you? Or has it always remained the exact same?
Good question. There is on YouTube, I think, and I don't know what the hashtag is or whatever, where I talk about all the iterations of the costume, which did change. Things got a little easier. They tried to make, well, they had to make a new suit for when JJ phoned me. Well, first of all, Kathy Kennedy phoned me and said, hi, my name's Kathy Kennedy. I'm the producer of the new Star Wars sequels. And would it be okay if J.J. Abrams called you? Would it be okay if J.J. I was so stunned there. I said, yeah, no, that would be fine. So then JJ comes to the phone, and he saw Star Wars, I think, when he was 11. And he babbled like an 11-year-old, telling me how wonderful I was and how wonderful, etc. Would I be in his film? C-3PO. I said, well, yes, but I would want a new costume. Of course. So we did build a new one there, and it worked. One of the things they did really well was to fix the head so it didn't take half an hour to adjust the screws and things, that it went, that was it. It went on just like that, which meant I could take it off in between takes, which was great. And then some things happened with the lower bits, and often the wonderful ILM can fix things just digitally, and they helped out. So in certain sequences of The Rise of Skywalker, I'm actually, you don't know it, but I'll tell you, I'm wearing like a bikini, a gold bikini, so there's a gap in there, and then somebody ILM paints in the middle bit, which makes me be able to do all sorts of things that would have been difficult. Climbing up to Ship Rock, I remember, I could only do it by having a little space in the middle. Sir, young sir.
You've been in.
Over here, who said that? That's ridiculous.
So you're most well known for Star Wars, but you've done other TV shows and maybe some other movies. What outside of Star Wars has been your favorite project to work on?
The most favorite project ever was the play I was in before Star Wars, back in 1976 and 1975. A play called, it's a good question, a play called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. And wow, this is an educated group. I love it. And here's the thing, I think I was playing Guildenstern. Neither character is ever sure who they are, you know that. I was Guildenstern. I was the clever one, the really kind of sharp one. Rosencrantz is a little ploddy, kind of a foil. And I finished 2 weeks before going to Tunisia. And there we are. And then we had 3PO and R2, and of course it was all in the script and so on. And the first day, in fact, the first day I didn't have anything to say to R2, but what happened was we were outside the homestead, and just picture the scene, the dome home, and there we have Luke and Uncle Owen, who's just purchased the 2 droids, and the dome home is there, the steps going down into nothing. There's a water table. The water was about 3 feet below at that point, the water table. So Mark kind of goes down looking cute in his... I got costume envy on the first day. Mark in his little tunic thing, and totally me. Anyway, he goes down. Production's over there, camera's over there. The person operating R2 was over there. They said, here is your stop, Mark. You actors have to be told everything, where to start, where to stop. And also what happens in between. There's my stop. And here are the steps. 3PO does not do steps, ever. He does them occasionally, like in the cantina, terrifying. I mean, we're looking at broken kneecaps, at least. So, action. 3PO comes up, R2's behind. Now, don't you forget this. Why I should stick my neck out for you is quite beyond my comprehension. Cut. I stopped on my mark. Side view, stopped on my mark. R2 didn't. Cut! They're running. Thank you. I was frightened. First of all, it cost a lot of money, this machine. Secondly, I was going to die. Back to number 1, as we say. I'll do it from the side. The crew's now moved here, obviously, change of perspective. Yeah, action. Stop. Now, why I should stick my neck out for you is quite beyond my capacity. Cut. If he was ramming me from behind hard the first time, I was now being, whew. Anyway, we do it again. By now, I'm kind of, action. Why I should stick out my neck for you is quite beyond my capacity. That's what you see in the movie. You check it out. Well, this time, I feel that some of us have indeed been together for 45 years. Yes, some of us have. Some of us have joined together today for the first time. But all the time, I'm going to remind you, I've written a book. And when I came to kind of read the whole thing in one piece, I was surprised, even though they were my words, I hadn't actually strung it together in my head, because one of the things I talk about throughout the book, pretty much, are the people who see the films, the people who give me work, give the other people work, the fans, the audience, you. And so many people today have said, thank you for coming, and whatever. My thing is, thank you for coming, because you have been there all along. Without you, nothing. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Hey everyone, just a reminder that this panel recording is sponsored by your fellow fans at 80stees.com. Use coupon code FSC3PO to get 30% off on your order. The odds of you finding a better deal are approximately 3,720 to 1. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Hi, this is Michael Shanks, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The fate of the universe may depend on it. And have fun and follow your fandom.